The Harper contains foul language and adult material. If you are easily offended and thin-skinned, you should hit the stop button now. And if you are not a complete idiot, let's get this party started.
Hike up your motherfucking panties.
And pull them to the side.
This is the Harper.
Fuck you. No bullshit.
Welcome to the Harper, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right.
This is Jake. With me, as always, my sidekick, Adam.
You know it.
Tonight's special guest, the Jumbo, John Morgan.
What's up, Johnny?
Hey, man, doing good.
Oh, we're very excited about tonight's show. We got John Morgan. We've been waiting. He's been wanting to get on the show. We've been dying to have him on. But before we get started, I just want to make sure everybody out there in podcast land and the social media land and everywhere you might be, please check our YouTube videos. We don't have every single show that we've ever recorded on YouTube, but we do have quite a few. I think we're starting at like show 19-ish and on. Pretty much almost everyone is on YouTube. You can go to our website, theharperguys.com. There we have all kinds of links to our Twitter. What else? We got all kinds of shit.
Oh,
Twitter,
man, you name
Facebook, Instagram.
iTunes, Twitter, you said
Yeah.
Facebook. I don't know. I'm just repeating everything you said right now, so it sounds like we got more.
That's okay. So basically, if you don't know where to go for our YouTube, you can go to our website, theharperguys.com, and follow the link. It'll get you right there.
Boom.
And that's it. Oh, and don't forget, subscribe. Please comment. Tell us how shitty, how great, whatever you think we are.
Sexy.
Sexy,
I'll
whatever.
take it.
And follow and subscribe to the harperguys.com.
Right.
It'd be great. So anyways.
Do you have any shout-outs to give before we're done?
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Our intro music, we haven't mentioned him in a while, but Ethan Meeksel, the guy's fucking rock and roll king as far as I'm concerned, for the unknown rock and roll king.
I'm telling you. Air guitar shredding right there, man.
And then our outro music, the Licorice song by Endless Love.
The licorice.
The Licorice song.
Man, dude, you slurring?
I can't say licorice.
You living a little too much of the high life?
I can't say licorice. Licorice.
You nailed it right
Lick
there.
her ass.
Liquor ass. That's it.
That shouldn't be a flavor. I'm just saying. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we are excited tonight. We got an opportunity to have our buddy John Morgan come on. So we pushed Big Brett back by a couple weeks. We know we've been talking about it, but we had this opportunity. We didn't want to turn it down. He is one of the great unpublished experts on humanity and parenting. We got a bunch of fun things to talk about with him tonight. It might change the way you think about things. So have an open mind. Ladies and gentlemen, John Morgan. Woo!
What's up, John? Say hi.
Hey, people.
So thanks for coming on the show.
You just cut him off.
I did. Sorry. I didn't know you were going to talk right there.
Yeah.
So we talked beforehand about a couple things you wanted to go over about some of the problems that we have in society and some of the ways that we were fixing them. So I'm just going to let you kind of start off with what one of those things might be to kind of lead into how you see the world.
By the way, before we get started here, I'm going to interrupt you. Like I said, I like to do that.
All right. I love
we
it.
all have known each other, us three, for over 20 years.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's been a long time. Now go ahead. So
All right. Well, I've a coach for a lot of years. I've had kids in
what did you coach?
sports, football, softball,
Yeah.
baseball,
Right.
and the biggest problems that I see is parenting. So I was coaching in a town, I won't say the name, but my favorite teacher there, Peterson, we were talking about it, and me and Mr. P, what I call him, we were talking about the problems and the world with
Parenting.
parenting,
Yeah.
young children, and we came up with a two-shot theory.
Two-shot theory.
Okay.
I can't
Two-shot
wait.
theory.
I can't
Oh
wait.
yeah. This one's gonna probably piss off a lot of people,
That's
but it's
okay.
the truth, man.
So are we talking about like 2 shots of Jack and like what that'll do to
No,
you?
no,
or
no, man. We're talking about
Shot to the ass.
when that child is born. That child gets a shot. That child is sterile until that child can prove that it's not going to take from us. It's
So you have to have
actually going to benefit.
some sort of a qualification.
Right.
Right.
You're gonna have to have a
But there's a lot of things you have to prove. Like
education.
like are you
That would be something we would vote on as a country.
right? Like for one, do you even make enough money to have a kid?
Right.
I mean, because there's enough kids in poverty as it is.
Right.
That yeah, they might end up being great people, but the chances of that are unfortunately low.
Yeah.
What else should be a qualification? I don't know.
Can I ask for some
How
clarification?
about your?
Are you talking about so when the child's born, he gets a shot, and all of a sudden he becomes sterile
sterile?
until he gets the second shot, which makes him fertile again?
He can breed.
Okay, so the question that I have is that based on what that child does in life or the station that his parents get him to?
No, that proves to a what that child does. Now, by this, if and when it was possible, you would have one more cycle of the problems that we have in this country. And the people's going to ask, what problems do we have?
You have a shit ton of problems.
Right. Welfare.
Yeah. Get off the
Teenage
nation.
pregnancy.
Get off the nation's tit. We've said that more than
Right.
once on this show.
teenage pregnancy is gone.
Whoops.
It is gone. Drugs. Crime is lowered to the max.
Because
welfare.
why do you think crime's lowered?
Because if
Just not as many people. Statistics.
Statistically, if a child is raised correctly, and I'm not judging nobody, I'm just being real. That child's going to fall into where the child works, produces for the country.
Right.
I mean, he's not taken away, like welfare. Welfare's a cycle.
Sometimes it is. Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, most of the time it is.
Yeah.
I
Well,
got family members from generation past, and their kids on welfare.
Yeah.
So let me ask this. So let's say that you come from a family that is well-to-do.
Yes.
And Grandpa has $100 million.
Mm-hmm.
And he gives you $2 million.
Right.
Is that enough to make it to where you should be allowed to procreate? Like, I'm trying to
No,
figure out
no.
what all different levels are we talking about? Just socioeconomic? I'm sure that if
Well,
we
it can't just be based on just having enough money.
Money.
Well, that's
No,
why I'm asking.
no.
So, if you commit a felony, would that be like a 5-year penalty? That from the day
That
that you
would be
commit the
till-
felony, then 5 years from then, before you're even eligible to get the second shot.
That would be something that we would have to probably.
Hash out.
How would you vote on that? If that was on the ballot, is okay. We're going to add 5 years from the date that you got your felony, and at that 5-year mark is the first time you're eligible again. Or do you think should be 3 years? Should it be 10 years?
I would say when you got out of prison, you got to wait for 5 years, at least.
See if you do it again. Right.
Right.
See if
You know,
you're
see if
going to
you
be a
can prove
detriment
that
to
you're going to
society.
benefit
Yeah.
this country and not take.
Okay. So we've got prison problems. You gotta stay
Yes.
Yeah.
down the line.
So you have less kids growing up in less well-to-do homes, which are probably going to be less likely to commit crimes.
or less likely for their parents to just buy their way into college.
Right.
And what's the most the criminals say? Well, I was raised this way by a single mom, or
Right.
Sure.
I was raised on welfare. I was raised, I had nothing. I just had to still. Okay, now at that point, that generation is done. So is it like the right to breed? Yeah, it's the right to breed. What? Why would person bring in people to this earth and it's going to take?
Yeah. If you remove the incentive from them, maybe they wouldn't.
Right.
Right. Well, there's a lot of incentives.
Yeah.
They get tax breaks, tax returns. The more kids you have, the more welfare you get.
Yeah.
Is that what you?
Right.
Is that where you're going?
Yes. That's exactly where I'm going.
Yeah.
Do you think that the statute should be the same for men and women,
Absolutely.
regardless? Even
Absolutely.
though the mom's going to be the one that carries it, ends up at
That's
the end
got
of the
nothing
day
to
has
do
the
with
most
it.
responsibility for it. I mean, I'm sure there's way more single moms than there are single dads out there.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
there's a lot.
Because
of
it won't be a foolproof
dads.
thing. So I almost feel like in some ways maybe the mom should be held to a little bit higher of a standard.
No,
if you're
no,
going
I
to bring a
don't believe
child
that.
into this world, okay.
No, the man's the one that had to have sex with her. That chose to have sex.
Yeah.
The man chose to leave. That's not mom's fault. That's man's fault.
So are you worried at all about maybe the possibility of like STDs and stuff? Because if you got a whole bunch of people that are sterile running around,
I was gonna say-
it's going to be like Amish on fucking Ramspringa, just fucking everything that moves because there's no consequences for it other than an STD.
STDs would be a huge epidemic.
But at that age, you're thinking more about fucking worrying about
Exactly, fucking.
Well, you're thinking about fucking, but you're more worried about
not
having a
getting a girl
baby
pregnant,
than
right.
you are getting
Right.
fucking
Sure.
AIDS or the SIF or anything like that, right?
Well, I mean, if
I mean,
if,
should we go to this point? We give them saltpeter and shit. I mean,
no,
Salty
No.
Peter?
I don't think I would
know
go
that-
that way. Now, let's say that I was young and then I had the chance to fuck a teacher, and I did, knowing that she possibly had AIDS or something like that. Hey, that's kind of dumb on my part. So, you still got to have safe sex.
You just got to
That's on your part.
You just got to make sure that the teacher has not got the second shot yet.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Right.
then you're good to go.
Right.
so sorry, I've been thinking about this for a week, and I have a lot of questions that go with it.
Yeah,
so
go
I'll
ahead.
ask
Sure,
that.
ask.
So, in some ways, do you maybe think that this should kind of be like the Santa Claus effect, to where kids don't really fucking know at a young age that they have this? Because I think that sometimes the deterrent from kids having unprotected sex that could have long-term life-changing effects is the fact that they know that they could have a baby. So if you know at the age of fucking 16, all bets are off. I don't got to have a baby till I pass this fucking test. I ain't trying to pass no test. So let it fucking fly. Like, do you think that maybe we'd be better if like people were kept in the dark until a certain age about it?
I see where you're going, but I highly doubt it. As many
People talk
as many
about
people
it, right.
as many people have
Gonna
kids
talk
at
about it?
18,
Right.
16.
Right.
I mean, yeah.
Okay, but look at the cost that would go into doing this. So what if every other child got the shot?
No,
You didn't know who you
no.
were.
You didn't
No,
know.
we need
You didn't know if you were shot
Every
one or
child.
shot two.
No, we need them all based on cost, right? All right.
You're talking
figure
instantly a
what we
50%
pay men on
reduction though in
welfare.
unplanned pregnancies, right?
Oh,
if you just do 50%, I mean, how much money does that save the taxpayers right there?
I would say let's save 100%.
110 motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's save them all.
I'm just asking.
Because what would happen there would be a entitlement from our government would say, well, we can let her. We don't have to let him. So no, if
You
You
would
go
have
100%
you would have a
across
bunch
the
of
board.
lawsuits. If I would have had the shot,
Shot, right.
or if I didn't have the shot,
right.
I could have.
Yeah.
Whatever.
well,
Do you think there should be a limit? Let's say shot or no shot. Should there be a limit on how many kids you could have?
No.
So it's not
No,
like
I
a
don't
credit score.
feel-
Like at 650, you can have one. At a 675, you can have two.
So you get the shot back. You're back in the game. You can have.
You're back in the game, man.
6
You
or
want to
7
have
kids.
12? Yep. You have 12, man. You want to have 12 little.
Okay, so what
Amish
age?
kids,
What
you
age
have
do you
12
think? What
Amish
age are
kids.
we throwing this back in the pot? 21,
Like
25?
First age of eligibility.
It's first age of eligibility would be, in my opinion, would be 21.
21.
If you can drink a beer, you can have a baby.
Yep.
You can rule the world at 21. Might as well have a kid too.
Right?
See, I think it should
If
be
it's
like
earned.
25. That way you can have your 21 through 24. Just
I mean, that's a magical 7
I would
years.
say by 21, you know, you're but
naked
it's
most of the time. But
got to be earned though. So there will be some people that can never breed, and I'm sure that we've all said that motherfucker shouldn't breed.
oh yeah,
Right?
we've all had those.
Yeah.
We have.
So
There's no
Hey,
way that.
but
kid,
you proved us wrong, and we appreciate that. We love your son, Jacob. So,
all right.
Not me, guys.
so I have another question for you. So, just to keep this going a little bit further. So, let's say that you reach your minimum tolerances on what you need to be to procreate. Should this be something like a driver's license, to where like every 2 years or 4 years you have to requalify? Because what if your minimum repopulation score is 650, and then all of a sudden you drop to a 625, to where you got on the smack because you had a fucking baby and you didn't know how to handle it, or you just suddenly gave the fuck up on life because you didn't know how to handle having a baby? Or
Great question.
like, should you have to get shot one over again to stop your ass from having more if you go from being qualified to being unqualified? I mean, you can buy your first house and be qualified, sell the fucker, move into an apartment, become unqualified, and not be able to buy another house. So shouldn't it be the same with kids?
Okay, you're saying let's just say
I think
that
he's just stumped the Swami.
a guy and girl got married.
Okay.
All right, they had a couple kids. Daddy cheated on mommy. Mommy left. All right, you know, she took the kids.
More than half.
Okay, now there's probably a third of the people in the world now
Yeah.
in the country. Now, would it be as hard to actually track him down? No.
No.
It wouldn't be as hard.
But still,
Track him down.
should
You're taken away.
If you fucked up though, like that. If you
Oh,
started
you should
fucking up your
pay.
life-
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
you
but
should pay.
but should you get the sterilization shot again?
That's a real good question. I'd say if
Because not everybody after
it's
qualification,
Right.
not everybody after qualification is going to stay on the straight and narrow.
Yeah.
Some people are going to fuck up.
Oh,
Right.
sure. If it's a major fuck up, felony,
Drug abuse, not working
drug
anymore,
abuse,
sucking
right?
the tit of the system.
You're trying to get on welfare for no reason. Yeah, you should say, we're done with you.
What do you think?
You can no longer breed from this point on.
To get
ever.
off track a little bit, but near the same topic, what do you think the qualifications should be for welfare?
Welfare,
You have to
welfare
pick
is okay. Now, if I could do the laws on welfare, no children.
No, I'm saying, what if you had children already and you were on welfare? You're talking about sterilization.
No more
still.
children.
Okay, no more children. All right,
No more children until you're off of welfare.
right. So if there was a shot, you'd get one right now. If you were on welfare,
Oh yeah, that'd be part of the stipulation. You know, you want free money for being a burden? Sure.
but you're not going to get any
You're
more.
going to get a shot. Yeah.
Right.
This is it.
To where you'd have to have like some kind of a lame duck period in there.
Right.
Like we enacted the law today. As of 18 months from now, if you're still on the fucking tit, you're
Yeah.
off.
Yeah, got to wean them off.
Well, I mean, there's people that truly need welfare.
Sure.
But
Sure, absolutely.
but the percentage isn't nowhere near that it's at.
Right. Because
Nowhere
of
near.
loopholes.
Right. And people,
Loopholes and it's a generational
How much do you
teacher.
think part of the welfare problem is going to go down once his wall's built?
His wall's built, I'd say 90%.
It's going to help a lot.
Oh, yeah. It's going to help a lot.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw out 90%.
I'm going to get a tattoo of the wall from one wrist to the other.
You're gonna
You
make like your
figure-
elbows and your shoulders like points of entry. Like those are these are
The gate.
Okay, now we're going to look at our generation. All the children born on March 22nd gets the shot.
Right.
So the people that were born from March 21st back, that's our last generation of burdens.
Right.
So you really wouldn't see the huge progress of it.
Oh, yeah. It would take some time.
Probably like 60 years.
It's, I mean, implementing anything.
Right.
I mean, it's going to take some time.
You're going to talk about 60 years or so.
Yeah. Just like
Right.
the wall. When the wall goes up, they're going to start parachuting in and
Right,
things like that.
right.
You know, you have to adjust.
Yeah. So in the future, the problem's solved. But as of now, yeah, you know, we're still going to suffer.
Right. So if the shot was
Rest of us.
if the shot was available next week, what would it be, like 10-year grace period before things start get turned around? 5 years?
I'd say probably 20 years.
Probably 20 years.
Yeah, because you're going to get the shot at 21.
Right. Plus you got all
if you want it. Like
Right.
it should be an optional program,
Oh,
right?
sure.
Like if I want to stay
Absolutely.
opted out for good,
Right.
like
Hey,
I'm
life,
allowed.
no
life
problem.
has been good. I don't want
Right.
I don't
You know?
need it.
Yeah,
me,
I don't
me,
want
me and my
kids.
lady enjoy our life. We don't
fine.
really need to be changing things up
Right.
too much. We're just gonna keep
It would
going.
change because I remember growing up and stuff, you're talking with friends or maybe family members, and they might even ask you, so how many kids do you think you might have when you're older? You're like,
Right.
Maybe 2 or 3, I don't know.
8 of them.
Right.
Yeah.
So, growing up, we think about that.
Sure.
Yeah. Everybody thinks, well, I might want to have kids, I might not. There's some people that don't. But if there was a shot where everybody was sterile to a certain age, it would change your mind. Well, maybe I don't want to be the other way, you know?
Right. Exactly.
Right.
So do you have to be married?
Teenage pregnancy is gone.
Oh, I think you
That's-
should probably have to be married, right?
I would
qualification?
say that's it.
I think it should be
If you
household
want.
income based.
Yeah.
If you're an executive
think it
making
should be-
$500,000 a year and you can handle that shit on your own,
Yeah.
I don't think you can be told no.
Right.
Okay, so you just knock up your girlfriend and
Yeah.
you have kids?
Yeah, that's fine, man. As long as you're supporting them.
Right.
If she's qualified.
If she's
Yeah.
qualified.
Yeah.
I know a guy that can get the
But
shot for
teenage
you.
I know my buddy Robert Kraft. He knows these ladies.
yeah.
You can get as many kids as you want.
As a Dolphins fan, it's a sidebar. As a Dolphins fan, have you gotten some joy out of seeing Mr. Kraft get busted?
Oh, lots of joy.
Yeah,
But
Do you think he should be
You gotta
booted out of
look
the
at
league?
this,
Do you think
though.
he should be, because they are advocating for him to be kicked
No.
out of the NFL completely,
No.
that he has to turn the team over to
No.
other people in his family, and that he's no longer allowed
No.
inside an NFL stadium, nothing to do
No.
with the league, because
No.
I'm sorry,
he
but
was involved in
just-
human trafficking.
Oh, was it human trafficking?
I mean, that they haven't proven any of this yet, but it sounds like
Well,
I thought he
that's
just got
all.
that were
I
illegal
thought he
that
just
work
had a
there.
prostitute.
yeah, I don't see him
It's a slippery
having a
slope.
problem getting some hot young chick to suck his dick.
It was a massage parlor.
the money that he had.
Happy ending type of.
Yeah.
See,
I don't see.
is he married?
No, his wife's dead, but
Okay, so he's a single billionaire, probably,
fucking
right?
horny, man.
I'm sorry. You can go places in this country that prostitution's illegal.
Yeah.
The guy should be able to. Now, if it was human trafficking,
Oh yeah, that's a different ball game, everybody.
I mean, that's
a
one of
whole
the things that
different
they've
ballgame.
alluded to. They haven't completely vetted the entire situation. I was just curious.
Yeah, but the media, though, you know how the media, they're gonna
oh my God,
throw out a bunch of bullshit, and people's gonna buy into
Sure.
this
Right.
or that.
right?
No, I don't think he should be thrown out of the league.
Unless it's human trafficking,
Right.
Yeah.
So you
That's
think if
it.
they can massage your shoulders to release tension, they should be able to
They
massage
should
your
be able to-
dick to
And
release
balls,
tension?
yes.
I got lots of tension, right?
I got a lot of wrinkles that I need pulled out. It's been a while.
Oh, shit.
It's no good that we know each other so well, right?
It is.
Or
You
so,
know.
for so long.
I will tell a quick story real quick, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. I know I do get a little long-winded. Most people don't know this. We've worked together. You guys have worked together for over 20 years. We've been almost 20 years working together. When I was a little kid, John worked at a gas station before he worked for the company we worked for. This was back in the day. I'm old enough that I remember back when they used to pump gas.
Right.
And,
you mean the full service?
yeah,
guy.
the full
Attendance
service.
guy,
Yeah.
okay. I've always had to do the labor.
Oh yeah. So we pull in every Friday. Friday's payday. We would pull in every Friday. John's working every week. Always happy to see a smile on his face. Well, right next to the service station he worked at was a little Dairyette there in town. So after about 10 times of being there, and like I was always looking forward to seeing John, I would always beg my mom, "Hey, can we get an ice cream cone?" So we went over, and I ended up getting one, taking it back over to John so we could eat it in between pumping gas. So it was pretty cool back in the day, and like who knew that we would become friends and we'd end up
Right.
working together. I mean, I was maybe like 6 or 7 at the
Oh,
time.
yeah.
It was crazy.
That's
Oh,
funny.
yeah, you're just a little shit.
I was. You were too.
Yeah, you're not little no more, though. But
What do you mean? I'm big boned. Come on. You fucking cutting on me like that? Shit. No. So I think there's some merit to your two shot theory.
It definitely needs ironed out. You got yeah.
absolutely. Now, most of the people that I've talked to for the last probably 4 or 5 years, we will bring it up, at parties or something. We'll start talking about it. And most of the people will say, well, that's a playing God. And I said,
Right.
that's not playing God. This mess is our mess.
Well, at
It ain't
some
God's
point,
mess.
At some point, with the evolutions of technology,
Right.
you have to say, hold the fucking press.
Yeah,
We
we're
got-
fucking up, and let's
We
stop
got
it.
too much shit going on here, and we're suffocating the world anyways.
Right.
So why don't we get some organization? I don't mean like China or wherever it is where you can only have 2 kids, and if you have
Income-based.
more,
Sure.
if you have more, they kill the one or they whatever. I think that's a little bit. I think it'd be better just to have the shot where. Now, I was thinking about this. Do you think this would decrease or increase child trafficking, because this is a big thing.
The value would be there.
The value would be higher, but there would be less of them.
I mean, you got the golden goose.
Well, you're not. Well,
You
All
think
right,
how
now,
many
do we-
women would just do what is that when you have surrogates? I mean, that would be a huge industry. If
Right.
you had the shot, how would that work? You wouldn't be able to do surrogates.
Right. Unless you were
Unless you had the shot.
You could
Right.
go to a sperm bank that was of guys that were approved, to where you can get
Correct.
your still
so
lively
see,
loads.
there's not a bunch of rules that's going to hamper the good, hardworking person.
Right.
Right.
I mean,
They're
that is
gonna
who's
blossom.
getting trapped too. It's the people in the middle
Right.
that are ultimately paying for it.
Right.
Right. Exactly.
It's the people that shouldn't breed ain't breeding.
Well, and I'm
Now,
gonna tell you,
teenage pregnancy. Now, I'm a living proof of it.
right.
It was very, very rough. And then people say, "Well, John, you got a kids and grandkids now," and so you're saying that
Yeah, you wouldn't have them.
you wouldn't
right.
have them. I wouldn't know. I would not know because I couldn't breed.
I don't agree. I don't disagree with that.
So I would not know.
Exactly.
Ignorance would be bliss at that point.
Right.
It doesn't mean just because you have a kid means you're at a young age your kids are gonna be fuck ups. The chain stops at some point.
Right.
Are you on
Right.
the Jake Cam right now?
I'm not on the Jake.
Can we get Jake Cam for just a minute? Because I have a direct question for you.
Jake Cam.
So you're in a little different boat than the three of us are. We've all got kids that are, if not raised, they're definitely well on their way to being raised. We definitely would not be shot number 2 people right now. Looking at where you're at in life, to where you and your significant other, this might be something that comes into play down the road. Do you feel like you should have to qualify for this? If you wanted to go home and get your old lady knocked up tonight, you should be allowed to.
I think there's things that need to be that need to take place before essentially we're mandating birth control. We're saying you must have birth control until we tell you you qualify to have a kid.
Right.
I was just curious. I mean, we do the same thing with healthcare and insurance on your car. And
Now,
on your
why
house
would you
and-
need to have a birth?
Well, that's what
control
essentially the first shot
if
is
you're
birth
fixed?
control.
Right.
So you're fixed, and then once you get off birth control or the shot and you get the new shot,
Right.
you can have a kid. I think I'm for it. I'd be for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now let me ask you this: how many people in your shoes, they don't want a kid, and then they knock up their girlfriend, their blind date, their first date, and it's not a good match? Who suffers?
The
The
kid.
little kid.
The kid.
Right. But that kid's not even going to know that it was never made. I mean, that kid's never going to know that it wasn't. Child abuse would
Yeah, that's
go
true.
down
The child abuse rate would go way
exclusively.
down.
Sure would.
Yeah.
this is
Abortion
like
would
a
almost
win-
become a non-issue.
right.
Not maybe
Right.
not 100%.
No.
But pretty close.
Close, right.
Yeah, this would change a lot though, because there would be more people dying of STDs, which maybe they should.
Yeah.
I mean,
Which if man, if you're going to go out there,
but would
you're
it?
going
How
to
about
be slinging slaw,
what do
wherever you want.
Would this
you know.
change rape? Would you think there'd be more people out just?
Just raping?
More
No.
I don't
No.
think so because
No.
DNA evidence is going farther now than it ever has. You leave one speck of anything near somebody
Yeah.
that you were with.
So that
and-
probably wouldn't
How
change
many
much.
rapists have a history of crime? Most of your rapists.
Yeah.
Okay, so they never got that shot.
Ooh, would that be a disqualifier?
Rape?
Rape? Oh, yes.
Absolutely.
So if you're
Absolutely.
convicted of a rape, then
For
you're,
life.
then you're shot one for life.
yes.
For life.
Now, what happens if you're like 86 and they prove that you were falsely convicted by a jury of your peers? Does the nation owe you something for the fact you weren't able to procreate your whole life?
We're going to have you call up the
That's just a whoopsie.
girl that sucked off of a craft and say, enjoy yourself, man, for 1 week, dude.
The world
We're
is your
fucking
oyster.
sorry
Huh?
that we fucked up.
Yeah, I don't know. It would definitely change a lot of things,
Right.
and probably most for the better. The teenage pregnancies. I had a good friend that went
Okay,
through
now
that.
you're going to say rape,
I did say rape, not now.
DNA testing.
Yeah.
It's
Oh, it's still there.
almost a guaranteed that you were fucking her.
Yeah.
So the point of getting proof guilty when you weren't, it's really, really low. Now, would we be willing to sacrifice that one guy for millions of people? Yes.
Right.
Maybe. Would you be willing to sacrifice that one guy for the people if it was you or your son or your grandson?
Well,
Like, that's how you have to look at that question, though. You can't just look at it as some guy in Nebraska that you're never going to meet. Like, you have to realize that if you talk about sacrificing a person for the greater
Sure.
good, it might be you or somebody that
Okay.
you're very, very close to.
Okay, now let's look at the double-sided question then.
Okay?
All right, there's no shot. Will rape stop?
Rape probably
No.
isn't affected by this. I don't think. I think you guys are right. I don't think rape changes
No, I
much at
think
all.
rape's.
No.
I
Pe-
think
pe-
rape's
Go ahead.
actually going to go down.
People that rape people aren't
lot.
really fucking worried about the consequences.
Right.
Let's
No.
be honest. That's
Right.
not their focus in that
No.
moment
Right.
is, am I going to get in trouble for this?
Right. Exactly.
That's not really their motivation, one way or
Exactly.
the other.
I would say if the motivation is do I want to have kids, a family.
right.
Right.
Am I going to raise them correctly, love them, treat them well, support them? I really don't know, man, if I'm ready.
Yeah.
All right, you're not getting a shot.
Sometimes that kid though makes that decision for you.
It's
Sometimes
true.
people can't make that decision, and then when the kid comes,
It's fair.
Right.
I mean, we do have a friend of ours that she was not somebody that you would have looked at and been like, oh my God, she needs to have a baby. She should be chosen to go ahead and have a baby. But she got pregnant, and it was just like, time to get my shit together. And she's a fantastic parent now, has her life together in ways that she probably never would have imagined if she wasn't living for somebody else.
Right.
Okay, that's the small percentage that we're talking about.
It is a small percentage.
But it is something that you still have to consider.
My wife was like
Sure.
that before her and I met. She didn't want kids. She might not. It wasn't even kind of even think about getting married. Then we got together and moved in and everything, and she got a little bit older. The biological clock starts ticking.
Oh yeah, she saw your penis. And said, "Hey, baby,
You
and,
fork-tongued devil, you.
yeah." She
And
said
then
it's only going to shrink with age.
more balls, less
Let's
dick.
get it on, right?
let's do it now while we have the chance. But it does that biological clock thing is a real thing,
Sure.
especially with women. And so that does change throughout your life.
Right.
Sure. So
This would affect more guys than it would probably women.
yeah.
I mean, is this just in the U.S. or is this we talking
Well,
worldwide?
U.S. first.
So you bring up an interesting point there. What you
What
might
if a
end up with
foreigner
is a
came
weird
over?
balance of 25 to 30-year-old women that they're all fucking qualified and they can't find a dude to save their ass that's qualified.
How about Bob Kraft? Right there.
I guess if he wants that many kids and that much responsibility.
Okay, so we're gonna look at that one. All right, we got more women that are ready. All right, that's probably fact. Now, would I want my daughter dating a guy that was at, let's say, 25, that was at 25, that wasn't acting 25? No. I'd rather her date a guy that had the shot that might be, 32. So
I don't disagree with that.
Yeah. And so my child, my
So even though
grandchild's
the
taken care of.
age is off, it might be for the better.
sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just like,
So let's say you turn 21. I don't want the shot. I turn 28. I'm still eligible. I think I'm ready for the shot. I'm gonna have
Sure.
some kids before I'm 30.
Sure.
Is that's all allowed?
absolutely.
Okay.
As long as you meet the,
Requirements.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
All
would
right.
actually respect that person more, knowing that he wasn't ready
Yeah.
and then didn't take it. So
Right.
so if we would look at the positives now. All right, we're going to look at all the positives now, which we've been talking about some really, really, really good questions. I
Sure.
mean, really, there was like some of them that was real titty twisters, but all right, welfare's gone.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, limited.
Teenage pregnancies
Yeah.
gone.
Yep.
Right. Well,
Crime-
that's for sure. It's gone.
Gone, right?
Yeah.
It's gone, motherfucker, gone.
Right.
Which is good, I think.
Oh, that's awesome, dude. There should be no teenage
I mean,
kids.
that's the
having
number.
kids.
That's the number one poster board right there for
Yes,
that whole two-shot
yes,
thing.
Yes.
Right.
And then you're looking at
Kids
crimes
having kids.
lowered. Your crime's going to be lowered.
Sure.
It's a win-win.
Yeah.
I'm sure that more people could call in and say, "How about this? How
Oh,
about
yeah.
that?"
Well, that's where you get the
Right.
collective,
Okay.
ideas.
Right.
Moving
Right now,
forward.
let's look at.
But that
all
leads
the
us to our
negatives.
audience. If you guys have any ideas that you think should be in this, or a reason that some of the things we've said should be out of it, go ahead and leave us a comment,
Sure.
leave us a share on any of our social media platforms.
Let it roll.
We would be happy to come back to this topic at some point in time because I feel like it's something that really needs to be discussed
Sure.
on a wider base. What we're actually going to do with the population of this world.
Because they're probably going to do absolutely nothing.
Right. People don't realize
Right.
Gen X, I mean, not Gen X, the millennials right now are going to be twice as big as the fucking baby boomers. I don't think anybody has any concept of what that actually means
Right.
as far as fucking population on
Right.
this planet. We are on fucking warp speed growing. It's like grow, and we're on fire right now.
Well, and that's where somebody has to be like, whoa,
Right.
let's fucking line up the shots.
That's where we're at. Is whoa,
Right.
because there's most of people look at it and they say that doesn't affect me yet.
Nope.
It doesn't affect you yet. So if you would call and say that you would vote yes or vote no on it. Another thing that somebody's going to say, I guarantee you. Hitler. I said, no. Hitler wanted blonde hair, blue-eyed. Not me, man. You can be black, purple, white,
Gray.
green,
I vote for gray.
Cyan.
Right.
Cyan.
polka dot.
Magenta.
That's not what we're saying. Why should people be born that will not make this world better?
I don't disagree with that theory.
Right.
So
Why shouldn't your goal be to
Because
to make this world a little
the
bit
percentage of the people that you actually are talking about that are making the world better is small. It's small.
It is.
better? It's like a 38%.
But some of the greatest minds ever to touch planet Earth were born from mothers who were nothing, people who were
It's true.
didn't have anything.
Yeah, I
We
mean, there's a big balance here, but
we start thinking about overpopulation, and then we're like, well, what are we going to do about it? Well, there's theories. I don't want to jump too much into theories, but they're like, oh, well, the drug epidemic is now crazy, and it's hitting everybody everywhere, but it's mainly hitting a lot of people in lower income areas.
sure.
Right?
So that could be the government putting the drugs in to eliminate the lower population too.
Sure.
So then that comes back, hey, is it this shot and the bad parenting, or is it we're just not doing the right job, or maybe we're just growing too fast?
Maybe you look at it from a different perspective. At some point in the last century, for the first time in humanity, we have gone from survival of the fittest to survival of fucking everybody.
Right.
Is what
Yes.
what has happened, and that's what
Yeah.
because of our laws, we don't want anybody to not live free, but there has to be some constraints that put us back into a natural selection process.
Sure, and it almost
Yes.
goes with the sports. And John can vouch for this, where it was you got a championship trophy, you got second place. Good job. Now
you were in third
now-
and fifth, you
now
got shit.
Everybody gets a participation trophy.
Oh yeah, you just like showed up for practice, and then you sat there and did absolutely nothing, Billy. Good job, Billy. No, man, you're making a failure. What the biggest crock that people tell their kids is you can be anything you want to be. That's the biggest pile of bullshit you can tell your kid.
Really?
Are your kid in science? D's. Oh,
You could
you
be
could be like a doctor, son. Oh, you ought to strive for that. You're doing a great job. Chances are that boy's not
So
going to
you're
be
saying you shouldn't give any
doctor.
false hope out there.
Right. Right. You should guide your child in his strengths.
Right. You know what?
And we suck at that.
You know what, Jimmy? You suck at everything else, but you take the trash out great.
Great, yeah.
I'm telling you what,
you should be
when that truck comes by, you
emptying
put your
trash.
application in.
Right.
Trophy.
All right, right there. Now we're going to label people. Now that's what I'm talking about.
Are we
This-
kind of moving on to the
this-
next topic here?
Yeah, we are.
As far as
Yeah,
what's
kind
going
of
on.
are.
Which so the next topic is, as John wants to talk about, is my generation of parents
parenting
failed.
Parenting, meaning my age from, we'll say, from 65 down. The parents. Okay, people's going to ask, oh, well, not me. Okay, let me ask this.
Let me ask you a question.
Now, when your kid walked up there and got that trophy, and he never showed up that much, he was always late, and let me guess what parent bitch that his boy never played on Saturdays. That was you. So that's your fault that your boy sucked at
The respective sport. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You did not support him in his strengths. All right. You found reasons why that boy should get a play based on them trophies when they were real little. Oh well. Every kid should get a play the same amount. Okay, let me guess, at work, you're the boss. You should make as much as the lowest person in there then. Because everybody should get paid all the same. Oh, no, that's like different there, Joe Mo. Nope. It's the same thing, but it started as a young kid. So, my generation. Okay, now with my job, most the young girls that I train outwork the young boys. Hands down. And you're going to ask me why. Because daddy never manned his son up. And that's the problem in this country. We got too many
Pussies.
sissies, pussies, and there's no shortage of them.
Well, when you mentioned earlier about being a 25-year-old acting 25, the first thing I thought of is what 25 used to mean ain't what 25 means now. 25 used to mean you'd been out on your own for 5, 6, 7 years. You were
you have a
established.
house, right.
Now 25 means, hey, I'm getting my fucking paycheck. Leave me alone and let me play my Xbox in mom's basement as many hours a fucking
Yeah.
week as I want to.
And then, like, I love to ask the young guys that still live at home. I say, well, let me guess. Do you pay any bills? Do you help out your parents? Oh, yeah, man. I help them out. Man, I make sure, the water still runs. I make sure, the electric's still working. And
Being a sponge, doing their part, huh?
yeah.
It's because mom's getting the check.
Do you mow? Oh, no. My dad loves to mow. Oh, come on now, man. This is a witness here that if my son would say, hey, Dad, let me mow for you, I would say, man, it's about fucking time. It's about time.
So what you're saying, let me just get clarity here. So are you saying that the first failure that we're discussing is the fact that men haven't stepped up as dads, or that this is a generation of men raised predominantly by women, so the pussification factor is through the roof?
It's a little bit of both.
Okay, that's fair.
It's a little bit of both. One time I was coaching, and I got in this one kid, and then the dad called me, and he said, my wife wanted me to call you. And I said, about what? And he said, well, what you said to him. And the dad said, I agree with you. And I said, so
Why are you calling me?
why would you call me then? And he said,
Because she told me to.
my wife wanted me to. Now, when my son played sports,
Everybody
didn't have a say.
Everybody knew it was your son, right?
right?
You were yelling at him all the time.
No, that's not what he's
but-
saying. He's
no,
saying
but they
if
know-
Mama would have told him to make that phone call, he'd have been
I
like,
would've
eh.
said, I don't think
No,
so.
Okay.
unless he thought that phone call should have been made.
What I thought you meant was you were the coach and everybody knew he was your son.
No, God, no. No, this was whenever he played, older, like
Right.
varsity and that. There was times a poor little boy came home. He had bruises on his arms, and Mommy said, that's gotta hurt. I go, where's it hurt at? Right here. And he'd say, girls like bruises. Girls like bruises.
Tough guys, right?
Right. So yeah, so basically, if you're taking this where it's like, oh no, we share parent. Well, you're kind of like a pussy.
I don't disagree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, there are certain things that I've always thought that the mom should handle. There's certain things that the dad should handle.
Oh,
That is totally
absolutely
in our house. My wife coddles the kid,
right.
like you would expect. And,
That's
and
normal.
I'm
That's
the
called
dad,
mothering.
and
You're the prick.
and I'm the prick.
Right.
That he's always so mean. No, I want you to fucking quit doing this shit and fucking toughen up a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, and sometimes I might be a little bit. There are different balances, but for the most part, it's like, come on,
Get
you
your
can
shit
do
together.
this.
Come on.
You're 9 years old.
The
I'm
problem-
done. I'm
man.
done cutting your food up.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, you're gonna have to quit shitting your pants, son. And I'm tired of buying diapers. You're in.
Hate that. 9-year-old
adult
shit in
diapers
his
now.
pants.
All right, now do both the children need? Do the children need both the parents?
Yes.
I believe in that.
Yes.
Yes. They need mother for love now, and then dad's vision for the long term. Now, my son
And
will
his-
be
and
the
his
witness of
paycheck.
this. My son, we were watching a game, football game, pro football, college or something. And he said, Dad, I really want to thank you. And I'm thinking, for what? I don't know. He's 23 at the time. And I looked at him. I said, well, for what? He said, Dad, for being so tough on me. I can see now why. Because I didn't turn out like the other kids. And he said, man, I want to thank you for that. And are you talking about getting
a little emotional, a little
lump in
teary-eyed?
your throat? Yeah, because it's not easy raising kids. It's not easy, man. People that thinks, oh, it's a piece of cake. You just throw
Changes your
food
fucking
on the
world,
table,
man. It
put
changes
some.
your
Oh
world.
yeah. You're taking a child that is representing your bloodline. Is it weak and whiny, or is it strong and tough? That's the question.
Or somewhere right in the middle.
You should. No.
There's no gray area?
No.
I want strong and tough.
Okay.
So you're saying that they shouldn't have safe places?
Such as a safe place. Explain what you mean.
You ever heard of like safe spaces that they have to where like if a kid's like feeling stressed out and things are coming down on them, they go to an area.
Fuck no. Fuck no.
Oh,
It's like,
should you be teaching your children to be politically correct?
no.
God, no one should be politically correct.
No.
That's something that this world needs to
That
put away.
is the most fucked up saying that people that don't like what you're doing will say. That's not politically correct. You should be a lot nicer to them. You should have did this. You should have did that.
You can't say this. You can't say that.
Yeah. It's like,
like the word retard.
Retard.
is the problem solved? Well, yeah. That got solved in 5 seconds, not 5 years. So move on. So, wipe his little ass when he cried and move him on.
Okay. So what other examples do you have about your generation of parents failing?
Well, I personally think that divorce is too easy. I actually started dating my wife in 8th grade. Been married for 33 years now.
Better not get that number wrong.
Right. Yeah, I know. Yeah, she's listening.
We're gonna fact check that, Mrs. Morgan.
So has there been times where I could have called it quits or vice versa? Absolutely. Dozens of them. Am I glad that I stayed with her? Absolutely. So divorce doesn't only affect you, it affects the kids.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
But don't you think that there are times that a marriage will reach a toxicity level to where it's better off that way than it
In
is?
certain cases,
you're gonna have that.
Yes. If two people absolutely hate one another, I mean, where they hate one another, yes, by all means, you should split up positively. But based on that,
You've been unhappy for a couple
months, yeah,
and-
you know,
and
she
you
didn't
just don't
say
know
I
how
could
things
go
are
here.
going.
Yeah,
Yeah. Get
Yeah.
your shit
Been some
straight.
quiet nights
Yeah.
at the home, not
Right.
talking a
Yeah,
whole lot.
right.
You
You've
know?
been on your phone too much, whatever.
Yeah.
Come on, well, let's talk it out.
Right. You feel it
Yeah.
coming, but it hasn't fucking burst
Yeah.
into the big show yet.
right.
No, if you've been married,
I'm not getting pussy as much. Well, boys, let me tell you, that's what's going to happen, man. That's what they got porn out there for. All right, but man, as long as she cooks and cleans and a good mom, and fucks you when you want it,
it's just no.
that's all you can
I
ask.
thought you were gonna say as long as she cooks and cleans and you got a left hand, you're good.
Right. but people always think it's like greener on the other
Oh yeah.
side.
Oh,
And,
yeah, sure.
and it's not always greener
No,
on the other
no.
side.
I mean, we all suffer from that at some point. You think,
Oh,
oh,
sure.
damn. Look,
sure, there's not one marriage where they can say, "Oh,
And most of the time, the happiest acting people are the ones that are the most fucked up.
It's true.
right."
Yeah, the ones that come through the door arguing and slamming the door. They're the.
Oh yeah, that's how me and my wife are. Man, if we're pissed off,
All right, you can't let that happen one more time. I'm
Right?
throwing you off the
One
show.
more time, and we're getting you a sippy cup. Well, you'll be sippy cup,
No,
John.
just leave it flat.
No, he's got to earn it. You can't be raising no bitch here. Come on, you got to keep it fucking straight
See,
and narrow
I was
here.
gonna coddle
Right.
you.
Yeah, come on, ma.
yeah, you're gonna coddle
Come
me,
on,
Ma.
ma.
Yeah, I got Ma on the left and Dad on the right. Daddy's over here, yelling at me, Mom.
It's
but,
okay.
But,
Just lay your flask down, Jonathan.
You're way too good at that. I'm just saying.
I stumped him.
You did.
I forgot what I was gonna say now.
You button hooked him.
Just sing it.
No, I totally lost.
Sorry,
That's all right.
I
Train
forget.
of
I forget
thought.
where we were going
Yeah.
at. We totally
But,
button hooked you.
Yeah, but
Well, no. So the participation ribbons, we're fucking that shit up. We're making everything too fucking easy on 'em. Do you think? And this is just me asking, because I remember a generation to where I didn't get a car bought for me, but I had friends that had cars bought for them. I talked to people from my mom and dad's generation. A lot of them had cars that were hand-me-downs, from that generation. When it comes to cars and clothes and cell phones and all of these things, do you think that we've gotten way too soft on making the kids earn these kind of things?
I would say, all right, now on my rules were, if you bring home a C, average, and then if you're playing sports, Dad will help you get a car. But if you're not playing sports and then you're bringing home D's, Why should I help you?
Well, that's in my household. My kids are 10 and 13, and I've told them since they entered kindergarten. I wasn't the best student. My wife wasn't the best student. We did okay, but we weren't. I told them from the time they went into preschool and kindergarten, you have one job. I go to work. Your mom goes to work. You have
get
one
good
job.
grades.
Go to fucking school and get good grades.
Right.
And it wasn't instant, but at like 4th grade, my daughter has been like A's and B's, and then my son, who was 3 years younger, saw her, and he's been straight A's.
Right.
So I'm like, so it's as a parent, I'm like, you're doing your job. Thank you.
Right.
Huge relief.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you want your children doing better than you.
Right.
Do you ever think that the amount of stress that's on people these days compared to 20 or 25 years ago has an impact on how they parent? I mean, do
Sure.
you think that like how you react on a personal level as a
Yes.
parent? I mean,
Yes.
one of the things that we talked about is I remember there was a point in time in my life that if I got into a fight with my friend, I'm not going to have 6 different outlets where we can talk shit about each other. I'm not going to see you for a couple days and shit's going to blow over. Or
Right.
if I get in a fight with my wife, I'm going to go to work and I'm not going to be able to talk to you for the next 8.5 to 9 hours. Things are going to calm down and we can be more civil instead of you texting me that I'm a piece of shit and me telling you to go fuck yourself for the next couple hours. So do you ever?
Which
I
you
mean,
probably should. But
I'm not trying to sound like an enabler for parents, but do you
No.
think that parents are under more stress now than they've ever been to not only be good parents, but to fucking get it right because it's so much tougher on you as an individual that your parenting job becomes harder.
I'd say it's so much tougher it's like a rush world. It is a rush world.
Instant gratification.
It's a
Yeah.
greedy
Especially now.
world. It's a greedy world.
Shipping, next day shipping.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't even have to leave my house to get my groceries.
Right.
Now they got this fucking new thing where you can order your fast food.
Oh, yeah.
Grubhub.
Grubhub, yeah.
I'm sorry. Pizza delivery is enough for me. I
Yeah.
don't
Right.
need-
Fast food wasn't fast enough.
I don't
Right.
need somebody going to Taco Bell. I didn't realize it was a thing. I may have kind of heard it in the background. I go through the Taco Bell drive-thru. I see a guy with the Grubhub bag, and I can hear him talking to the attendants at the Taco Bell because it's all real close. And he's looking at something. He's like, "Yeah, make sure you get the sauces." And he needs the special sauces that they wanted. I'm like, that guy's fucking taking that somewhere. I'm like, what the
No
fuck
way,
what
yeah.
the fuck have we come to?
Right.
Pretty soon you will not have to leave your recliner.
No. And then people's
Stationary.
gonna want
I mean, you can work from home too. I mean, like,
Yeah.
you really might not have to put a shitter in the bottom. Pay somebody to come and change it once a week.
Yeah.
You never have to fucking move.
Have
Literally,
that remote control. Going
Right. create
Yeah.
a fucking shower chair. You're in there.
Yeah.
Oh, just as you don't have to like constantly massage you so you don't get bed sores.
So let me
Yeah.
ask this: were you a parent that made your kids go out and play?
Absolutely, 100%. I mean, there is no way they're going to sit on their ass and play games the whole time.
Well, and
They went out and got dirty.
and that's what I was going to compare. My parents' generation. That's where the kids were. It was, hey, get up, watch if you want to watch some Saturday morning cartoons. As soon as 9:30, 10 o'clock, you're gone. You hear all you hear is the door shut, and you weren't back for a few hours.
Yeah, you were out playing, getting germs in your mouth.
Yeah, getting
And
beat
there
up,
wasn't,
having
like,
fun.
All these bullshit
Excuses.
excuses why your kid can't do this or should be treated as well as the better kids, as they would say. So yeah,
But
you go out, you get germs in your mouth.
But
you're
I
going to
think
be
those
healthier.
our parents had it easier because of that, because they could just let you go.
Yeah.
Nowadays,
The worry wasn't the same
you
level.
can't
I
trust
don't
a
think.
bunch of people. Right?
nowadays we've got a whole bunch of different things. You've got like 10-year-old or younger, or in that range, they've got tablets, they've got phones. Some of them. It's too much screen time, for one.
For sure.
You're on your devices. You're watching TV. I mean, when we were kids, okay, we watched 3, 5, and 8. We had a few channels. Finally, MTV finally fucking came out. We had 60 more, but still. For a lot of times, there's nothing on 3 channels. I'm out the door. Boom.
Right.
Yep.
Whatever. But now we have to worry about the weirdos. There's so many
Right.
fucking people in the world that are fucking
And the two-shot theory will take care of that.
booyah. So you can't let them go. Like my kids want to ride their bike around and we have to like seriously think about it. We're like, well, all right, do it
Watch out
quick.
for the fucking
Do it quick.
perverts on the goddamn road, right?
Yeah, I mean,
But like, I
Yeah.
feel like you used to know that. Like, hey, you know, the fourth house down, that's weird. Fucking Frank, you know,
Yeah.
don't go by Frank's
Yeah.
house. He will rape you.
yeah.
Like, I feel like you kind of knew those things because
Or-
the community seemed like tighter knit because everybody wasn't stressed out and plugged in all the time.
I mean, we had those issues, but it wasn't like today.
We had neighbors that could bust your ass, though,
Right.
and if that guy
Back to mom and dad.
needed, but now though,
Can't touch
my
it.
generation says, "Oh no, you know, don't touch my kid, you know, for breaking that window." Oh, you know, my son would never break that window. Goddamn bitch, man! I got him on.
Got him on surveillance because I'm plugged the fuck in.
on
That's right.
surveillance,
I had
yeah.
him on my phone.
Yeah, I got
Watching
oh,
this
no.
fucker.
My low
Oh,
jack.
no. That ain't Billy.
Yeah.
It's
He-
like
He doesn't have purple hair.
so.
So it doesn't take a village anymore.
No.
I mean,
No.
that's what they've taken away.
Yeah.
Well, and plus, kids today, like, we were even guilty of it at some points. You know, you have that TV babysitter. The kid will sit there and watch that show,
Oh, sure.
Sure.
you know, for an hour and a half. But fortunately, my wife's way too much of a helicopter parent, so she wouldn't let him sit there for too long. But still, I mean, if I was a single parent, I'd probably be like, thank you.
Oh yeah, moms. That's where moms and dad both come
Right.
in. Moms, and can make that boy do things that dad never could. Just over simple things. An extra scoop of beans at supper, and it fucking worked. Like wow.
She could get him to eat beans.
No, I mean Jacob had a job where Jacob got paid, you know, feed the dogs, and looked outside. He was probably like 13, 14. I looked outside, and there was no wood tracks in the snow. And I asked the little fucker, I said, "You been feeding the dogs?" He said, "No." I said, "Well, why not?" He said, "Man, I just don't want to." And I said, "Well, that's fine. No, you're not getting paid then." He goes, "I want to pay, but I don't want to feed dogs." And I said, no, you know, that ain't how it works. And I said, "How about if we put you in the shed outside and then you don't eat for 3 or 4 days?" And he said, "Oh, you know, Mom
She wouldn't have that.
wouldn't have that." I said, "Well, you know, Mom probably wouldn't have a choice in the matter."
You put mom
So
out there
then,
with you.
yeah.
But
So
Mom,
then,
with you.
my wife comes home, and she sees us, you know, kind of bickering back and forth, and
She straightened it all out, didn't she?
well, let me tell you a story. She goes, "How about if Jacob feeds them on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and then you can feed them on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays?" So, man, at this point,
You're taking what you can get.
no, I'm
Cutting
going to
deals
play
with the
with her
wife.
now. I'm going to play with her now. So I said, "How about Sunday?" And she goes, "Oh, let me think a minute." She said, "I could feed him." And I said, "Fuck that. That's his job." I grabbed $20 off the counter because I was so pissed off I wanted to punch him. Left. I came back an hour later. My wife said, "It's all worked out. You know, Jacob's going to feed the dogs." Got all worked out. A year later, kept on asking her, "How did you do it?"
Oh, so he started doing it.
Yeah. She told him when I scoop out food, meaning her, that she would give him more than me. And that's all it took. It's like, God damn, man.
So she
I've
paid
been
him more
doing
money?
it wrong.
No, she gave him more food than
I
Dad.
gave him more food, like
Oh.
an extra scoop of beans or something.
Man, that goes against everything I believe. Daddy
Yeah.
gets the big piece of chicken.
Oh,
That's
yeah, but
how I
not
was
in this
raised.
one, man.
Daddy gets the big piece
Big
of
piece
chicken,
of
and
chicken got
first
hid.
one getting
So
seconds is
you
Dad.
never caught on for a whole year that he's getting more food than you?
Well, we were at
I mean,
work.
at that age,
Yeah.
he probably ate about the same amount. I mean,
Yeah.
he was growing into being an athlete
Yeah.
and stuff. It probably was comparable.
Yeah, we're at work, and Jacob's out there, working part time. She goes, now, this
Agreement?
bowl's
Oh.
his, and this one's yours. And I said, man, what's it matter? She goes, this one's his. So
Had an extra scoop.
we sit down and, sit down and eat. I got 2 meatballs. Jacob's got 8. And I said, you little spoiled fucker. And he said, well, quit crying, Dad. And he gave me a few.
You're going to knock that off.
So,
I don't know what you got tied up on something here.
You button hooked him.
There we go.
Second time tonight.
yeah, mother's got ways that she can get things done, too.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Dad's got one way. Do it now.
Yeah,
You fucking hear me?
yeah.
We're doing it live.
Right?
Do it now.
Got the crazy face. That's how you get shit
Yeah.
done. Crank up the fucking decibels a little bit.
All right. So you want to go into one more quick one?
Actually, I would. To me, John's a legend. There's some things about John that have cemented your legacy for me.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask you. You know how like you hear stories, about David and Goliath.
Mm-hmm.
You ever want to sit down and like ask David, like, did you really fucking shoot that pebble between
Yeah.
that motherfucker's eyes? You
Right.
know what I mean? Like, did you happen to fall and you kicked it into his face?
Right.
Did he have an aneurysm at the
Right.
right moment? Like, what happened?
Yeah.
So there's a couple stories that make you a legend that I want to ask you about, and you can
He's trying to read them.
you can politely pass if you don't want to tell the story.
All right.
But if not, I want you to tell the story. Okay.
All right.
So the first one is I don't know the full story. All I know is that at one point in time, you and a bunch of other guys from work took a charter boat out of Lake Erie going fishing.
Yep.
And there was an incident that happened on the boat that they joke around that you were legendary about. You weren't feeling good or something.
Oh,
You don't have to tell
You
him.
you
can
mean
pass.
when I
We're gonna go with the
shit in the
punchline
cooler.
first.
When you shit the cooler.
when I shit in the cooler? Oh yeah, man, I can tell you that one, guy.
All right. How did it?
They work out great, man. Them Coleman coolers. All right, we're on Lake Erie, and we're getting ready to launch, and I kind of felt like a slight rumble, but
You're like, fuck it.
I figured I could
You can handle it. You're a
hold it
man.
for like a couple hours, 3 or 4 hours. I get out there, we're catching fish. And I said, dude, man, I gotta take a shit, I think. So, man, I asked the guy in the boat, Stuart Cole. I said, man,
Big
you got
Stu-
something
was
to
this
shoot?
Stu's
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
Stew
yeah.
Daddy.
Hey, baby.
Baby.
I said,
That was Dale, wasn't it?
Both of them. Anyway.
Both of them.
you got something I can shit in here? And he says, no. And he said, why? I said, I obviously got a shit, dude. He goes, so Stewart's getting all pissed off at me. I said, man, I got a shit, man. I got to figure something out. And so I asked him, man, if he had a bucket. He goes, no. So I'm looking around. I see my cooler sitting there. And I said, man, I really, I really got a shit. And I said, man, if I line that fucker, toilet paper, that would keep it clean.
Enough.
And with paper towels.
I could
it's
probably
like
use. I could
a,
probably use that on Monday.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's like a 2-quart cooler, like a real small one. But I figured, man, if I aim just right,
Thread the needle,
Hold
baby.
on to it. I can do this. And so I said, well, Stu,
Where can I go?
yeah, well, Stu had a
Little cubby.
small cubby
Yeah.
hole, and I said, man, I'll go down there and do it. And Stu goes, man, don't get no fucking shit on my bed. So, man, I go down there and I'm holding
It's gonna be explosive
Yes.
too. You know it, right?
my ass. Luckily, man, I didn't miss. So, man, when I come out, man, I dump it over the side and I
Chumming.
put the lid back on and we're driving home. And I said, Stu, man, there's something I got to tell you. I said, man, I speckled over the wall down there. And he said, you son of a bitch, you better not fucking shit in my cubby hole. I said, no, I didn't shit in there, man. I just left a little chocolate kiss there by your pillow. That's. But he was so pissed, man. He thought I was serious. But yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, that story is true.
That's awesome.
Yeah, there's no worse points in life when you have
Have
to
to shit,
and you
yeah.
have nowhere to go.
Right?
Yeah, something's
Something's got to
coming,
give.
man. Yeah,
Right.
something's
You got two choices.
something
you know?
coming. Yeah, man, I'm looking around at my shirt. I'm looking at a tackle box. I'm like, man, I
Does
gotta
anybody
figure
have a
something out.
large cup?
Right?
Yeah.
I'm glad that
Yeah,
the
you
story
know-
lived up to the hype because I'd heard kind of different versions over the years, so I wanted to hear it straight
Yeah.
from the horse's mouth on that one. So I think I'm gonna end
Cup
up
your
having,
hands for me, Stu. And
I'm gonna end up having one more question here for
all
you.
right.
So
Do I got a 14-inch dick and a bucket of balls?
I,
Well, it's only 12. The 14 ain't true. But
you only got 12 balls? Is that what you mean?
well, I got 6 balls and 12 inches of cock.
Right? Okay. So
if you stick it in twice, right? Okay.
yeah.
Anyways,
Anyway,
4 times.
4 times.
your 4-pump jump. You get there,
Yeah, sometimes you get a little bit older.
right?
Takes like 5 jumps.
You got 30 seconds. Get what you can out of it.
Yeah,
Right?
right.
Hey, what do they say? 30 seconds in heaven's better than no seconds in heaven.
Yeah. What would Winston Wolfe
Yeah,
say
man,
right
I found another wrinkle.
now? Oh shit. So the last question that I got.
That's it.
There he is. There's Winston coming in. So most people that know John know that he lives right next door to another coworker of ours that we're just going to call Bun, right?
Yes.
And I heard a story a long time ago about you raise beagles. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And that they,
Did.
you used to.
Used to,
And,
yeah.
and that him and another friend of his had found one that had been deceased, and they poised it at your house in a position
Dead.
by your garage to where
No,
it was dead, right?
it was like by the front porch, on the front porch.
So it was the middle of winter, and so you
Frozen.
didn't know for sure whether or not this was or wasn't one of yours.
Well, my daughter didn't know.
Oh,
So that was why the wife got mad.
so fucking with your kids now.
Yeah.
So what did
So
you
your
do to
mama
get back
bear.
at him? I want to know if this is true because I've heard this story from multiple
All right, this is
people.
what
Can
happened.
we precurse this a little bit? So you guys obviously get at each other when you can, right? Maybe not? No?
Not at this point. They were pretty amicable,
Well,
right? Back then.
We've always
I
You
mean,
live
John will
around
poke the
since
bear
You live close, right?
school.
right
Yeah.
beside each other.
Okay.
Yeah,
There's a little field.
we
in
were
between
like
us.
school
Schoolmates?
friends and that, yeah. And so anyhow, Jeff and Bun saw that dog, frozen in the ditch.
They thought it'd be funny.
Yeah. And they said, well, let's put it on Morgan's porch, and Morgan will think it's one of his dogs. Well, lo and behold, Mama's little daughter cracked the door open, and she goes, Dad, one of the beagles are dead. She comes in freaking out, like
Right.
bawling, she loved them. And so I go look out there, and the beagle's like frozen on the porch. I looked at it real good, and I said, "Phew."
It's not funny, but it's funny for some reason. Frozen beagle.
"That's a not ours." And I said, "You ain't quit crying." And Joan got all pissed off, and I thought that the dog actually walked up on the porch after being hit and
Oh, okay.
died on the porch. So I go to work and I
Well,
tell
yeah, because
Bun
you
about
have no
it.
you have no explanation.
Right.
Yeah.
I got no clue what happened. And so, man, I go out to work and I'm telling Bun the story. You know, Bun's like chuckling. I go, well, "What's so funny?" He goes, "Well, that was me and Jeff Renninger put it on the porch." And I said, "Man, my daughter found that shit, man. She was like bawling and shit. You know, we're kind of
Laughing
You know,
a little bit. Yeah.
Sure.
laughing about it." I personally wasn't pissed off, man, about it. And then I come home and I tell my wife about it, and she goes, "That motherfucker, man, I'm getting him back." She goes, "I'm going to call him." And then I said, "Well, Joan, Bun's not going to answer." So she calls down there. You know, Becky gets on the phone, and she goes, "Man, is Bun there?" And she goes, No, Brian's not home." And I knew that fucker was at home, and I said, "Man, I told you he wouldn't fucking come to the phone." And she goes, "I got something, man. I'm going to do that." I'm going to put their lot for sale in the trading post. And for $20,000, I said, no, you don't put 20 grand. I said, put down like $5,000. You know, man, you got to sell it.
So you put their
No,
house
you
up
lost
for
your
sale
job.
in the
Was it
paper.
No, lot.
Oh, that
His
10-acre
empty lot. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
So she put it in the paper the following week. The phone rang all week.
At his house.
From 5 o'clock on, wanting
That lot.
to buy the fucking lot. And so you don't fuck with the mama bear.
Man. So all these years, I thought it was you that listed it in the paper, but it was Joan.
Joan, oh yeah.
Way to
she
go,
snapped.
Mrs. M.
Yeah.
That is fucking legit.
That is
right
classic.
Oh yeah, she
Man,
snapped.
You could even do that to somebody's house.
Man.
Just list it for like, 25 grand.
Yeah.
Boy, people would be calling.
Oh yeah.
It's like hitting that one home
He
run,
said, man,
instant
from-
legendary status. Joan Morgan, a legend in her own time.
He said from 5 o'clock in the morning, man, the phone never stopped the whole fucking
Oh, that's
day.
the greatest fucking prank of all time. Fucking prank war champion.
Lesson learned.
That's awesome.
All right, let's roll it on out, Jake.
All right, man. Hey, we really appreciate you coming by. We're gonna
Oh,
have
man,
to do
this
this
was
again.
fun.
Yeah, you were
Absolutely.
fantastic. It was a blast and a half.
This
So-
was a lot of fun.
Good time, Johnny.
Yeah,
Glad to have you here.
absolutely, my friend. Hey, if you got some suggestions on how to fix this shit, help us.
Yeah,
The two-shot theory. You in or you out? Our parents shitty? Let us know.
That's right.
Can't wait to get a little feedback from you here.
Don't forget to send us emails, good or bad, at also the Harperguys at gmail.com.
That's right.
Yep.
That's all we got for tonight.
That's it.
Jones taking us home.
That's right.
All right, brother.
Pip, pip.
Cheerio.